I am going to show you the ins and outs of using the standalone bobbin winder from Baby Lock it came with the Tiara, it comes with the Regent, it came with the Crown Jewel, and it comes with the Regalia. It is to wind long arm bobbins, Class M. Okay, now, so as you can see, here I have, this is the Madeira, and it is called Coral Fish. It is color number 9506. Okay, wonderful variegated thread. It has actually got coral and like a fuchsia in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thread. And I need to wind about 6 bobbins for this quilt. So I'm going to explain some of the parts to the bobbin winder before we get started. So this is it. Pretty cool, right? Plugs in over here. Okay, so to unplug it, it just pulls out and goes in. Now there's not an off and on switch, so whenever it's plugged in, that little green light right here by my thumb, it says auto fill. That lights up. There's a start button, green, a stop button, and this knob here controls the speed of the bobbin winding. I leave mine set at the 12 o'clock position. That's where I wind all of mine, but you can definitely make it run super duper fast. This peg right here is where the cone of thread goes. And then it just comes up and over into this little hook right up here. Okay, now right here there's like a little pigtail, for lack of a better word, so you're just going to wrap that so it's fully inside that little threading port right here. Let me bring that a little bit closer. There we go. And we're going in through right here. Okay, so next, I'm going to bring it around the tension dial. Now this does have a knob on it, and the easiest way for me to tell you how to set the tension is this. What I do is I will pull it around in a clockwise direction and pull it over to the other side right here, and then just pull it out a little bit. That sets it in, and then you're good to go. So when you're running your bobbin winder, if you hear a clicking noise coming from the tension disc area, your tension is set too high. You want to feel it where it's got a little bit of a pull, where it's actually giving some resistance to pull out, but it shouldn't be hard to pull out at all. Excuse me. So I'm going to trim off the end of this. I have it all threaded. Now I am going to grab me a Class M metal bobbin right here, and these bobbins have a slot on them. Okay, see if you can see this right here. That's actually goes through the side of the bobbin. Okay, so our thread is going to come, we're going to thread it and put the thread on the inside of the bobbin, and it'll come out of this slot. For instance, just going to thread it through. Come on, you. It's easier to do when you're not on camera, but there we go. Now see how that's just hanging on there? So next, you're just going to, this, where it comes through the side of the bobbin, that comes to the front. And you're just going to insert it onto this bobbin peg right here. And you don't want to hold it real tight when you start. If you do, the thread's probably going to break on you, okay? So what I do, I pull all the, so this is taut, and then I just ease back a little bit so it sags and I hold on to it. Then I press the green start button. and I let it wind a bit, and then it'll just break off. And that's all you have to do. Now it will automatically shut off once that bobbin is wound. And that's really all there is to it. Now that's about 5.5. I'm gonna turn it up to 8 and listen. This is all the way up to 10. That's as fast as it will go. But normally, I just keep it up in the 12 o'clock position. No particular reason. I just try to maintain the same speed when I wind all of my bobbins. And there it is. It's full. It automatically stopped. And then what I do, I cut it next. And that way it stays threaded over here in the tension area and the... So then you're just going to pull it off. And it's a little tight. This one's fairly new. But that's all there is to it. And check out and see. There's just a little bit, I set it so there's just a little bit of a lip, maybe 1/8 of an inch to the edge. You don't want it to come all the way to the edge, simply because that could add a drag on the inside of the actual bobbin case. But there you go. That's how easy they are to wind. Now, one thing, when you first get one of these, usually there's more of a gap right here. So you can set how full you want your bobbins to wind by adjusting this right here. Okay, so this screw will loosen up, and you can slide this whole mechanism backward, over to the right or over to the left. If you want it fuller, slide it to the left and then tighten it up. The easy way to figure that out, excuse me, if you see this white line right here, right there, right above my thumb, you put your bobbin on. Oops. Well, I'll pick that up in just a moment. I have plenty. I always have a lot of bobbins. You just insert that on while it's setting down. There we go. Now, that white line will intersect the edge of that bobbin, and that's where that white line is where the thread that will make the bobbin winding mechanism stop. Because there's a little eye right here where my thumb is and on this one, and they connect to each other. And that LED light, that light is what actually causes it to stop once the thread fills up to the level of this vertical line right here. If you wanted more, you would loosen this and slide this whole piece over to the left. If there's too much, you can loosen it and slide this whole piece over to the right a little bit to line up that vertical line on the bobbin right where you want it to automatically stop at. All of that being said, let's wind another bobbin. We'll go through the process again. So first, you set your cone on the machine, on the bobbin winder, and then it goes from front to back, right through this loop up here. Then it comes down here to this little pigtail. Then it comes around the tension disc in a clockwise direction, and at least pull it straight up to make sure it is set, it is nicely set inside that disc. Then you're going to take an empty bobbin with a slot on it and thread it from the inside to the outside. Here we go. Let's give you another go here. There we go. Then you're going, the thread that's coming through the bobbin, that comes to the front, and then you just set it right onto the bobbin spindle. And then you're just going to pull on it gently and then back off a little bit so there's just a little bit of slack right there, and press the start button. It will tighten up, and then it will just break off. And that's all there is to it. Now it will finish winding that bobbin. And that's really all there is to using this machine. If you don't put it through the slot on the side of the bobbin and you just try to wrap it around there, you're going to get a loose bobbin. It doesn't work well that way. I have tried it many ways. And the key to having great consistent bobbins is to wind them in the same way every time you do it. That way you have no tension surprises when you sit down at your mid arm or your long arm, or at your stand-up long arm. All finished, it automatically stopped. Then I'm just going to cut it close to the bobbin. There we go. And there's two. Now, when it stops, the little green light for the autofill, it goes off. And as soon as you remove it, it pops back on. I'm going to get another one going. Right over here. And I'm estimating 6 bobbins for this quilt. And that's what I try to do. I need to do one more though, because I already have a couple of them, 2 of them wound. And that would give me, this one will give me 6. So I'm going to get that one started. Now see, I did not give slack and it immediately broke my thread. And I wanted to do that because that is what will happen if you hold on to this thread too tight when it's first starting. It's going to cut that metal, is going to cut your thread. So all I'm going to do is take this back off, rethread the bobbin. I love this bobbin winder. One of my long arms, it has a built-in bobbin winder on the back of the machine. Not the best setup in my opinion, because these bobbins that are wound on here, they come out perfect. The other one, not always. So press the start. I got slack in it. See there? Start. And there we go. And that's and I'm one of those people, I like to use the same thread in the bobbin that I'm using on top of my quilt. So I pretty much exclusively use Madeira Arrow Quilt thread in my long arms, the Regent, my big one. I even use it in my machines when I'm quilting in the hoop. This is my go-to thread for quilting, regardless of which technique I'm quilting with. And there we go. That's all there is to it. Perfectly wound, beautiful bobbins. Another way to check your bobbins, once they're full, take your finger and press down. Press towards the center of the bobbin. You should not be able to press the thread where it makes an indentation. If that happens, your bobbin is too loose and you will not get great tension when you're actually quilting. So that should be solid. It should be solid. If you press down there and there's a give to it on the thread, and you can feel the difference. If you've ever done it, you can feel the difference. If you ever push in and there's a give to it, that bobbin is worthless. You may as well unwind it and save it for a future craft project because it's not good to quilt with.